Hi everyone, it's been a while since I've posted my last video about my first ever physical exhibition, Citrinitas, and there I said that I would create a separate video about the whole art project. It's the series of works, so today I'm going to talk about each work in the series, explain the meaning and the inspiration behind it. So yeah, let's start. To begin with, I want to give you a little bit of context about my art journey in general. I don't really remember if I told it before, but I started my journey as an artist in 2023. I mean, as a conscious creator of works that bring meanings and messages behind them. So, of course, I've done something before that. I've worked with wood and different materials and paintings, of course, but it was just like fun, and it had no particular meaning behind it and no exact message. So, as a conscious artist, I started in 2023 when I immigrated from Russia to Georgia. The fact is that this period is very connected and fueled by the stress and emotions that I had after the relocation. It shows the clear connection with the first works that I've created and that were shown on Citrinitas exhibition as the part one. The light in the window unfortunately has gone away, so we have to continue like this. We are talking about these works. They are very moody, dark, and depressive because they broadcasted my inner feelings at that period. So this work is called Overthinking, and it's pretty clear what it's talking about. The burden of thoughts that are overwhelming, and it brings the person into this kind of melting state, melting of the brain. Well, it's pretty transparent, so I don't want to fix on this for a long time because I have something more interesting and conceptual to show. I'm talking about this work, for example. It's called The Curse, and I guess it's one of my favorite works yet. It shows the deformations that are caused by the inner darkness that is filling us from the inside and trying to find its way out. And sometimes it not only deforms our mind and soul, but even the body, because there is no secret that there are a lot of different diseases are caused by psychic states and all that stuff. So it was a kind of a therapy to create this work because the darkness inside me needed to find its way out, and I wanted it to be an artwork better than my own body's condition or mental condition, because all this energy needed a way to release. So yeah, this work is very expressive in my opinion, and I love it very much. So these works are kind of a statement of my inner condition at that period, and it lasted for a while, for about a year and a half or something. And the last work from this part was this object, which actually has no official title, but it's something like the Illumination or Insight. So it represents the person covered with this black negative shell of all these destructive energies and thoughts and mindsets, whatever. And these golden nails are cracking this shell and letting the light from the inside to shine and it helps as a first step to get rid of this shell. And I'm making an accent on the snails as something that has happened to the person, because I personally experienced that as a kind of help from, in my interpretation, some divine forces or whatever you want to call it. As you know, the main topic of my art in general is the exploration of spirituality. So I love to talk about these topics: religion, faith, God, divine, all that stuff. So in my interpretation, it's kind of something that helps to see that it's not okay to be covered by this shit, and that it's time and opportunity to get rid of it, to escape. And it brings the first kind of impulse, the first push. You know, it makes these little cracks that are crucial to start destroying this shell, and to start the work by yourself, because without that you never know where to start even and how to do this. So it gives you an opportunity to escape this darkness. And after that work, as you can see in the exposition, we are symbolically enter into the new realm from one state to another. We can see the first work from the new period and the part 2, which is called the Unveiling. So as you may see, the whole series is following the journey of the hero who has some transformative experience. And this work is also kind of the next step that this character is taking. So the Unveiling is the process of breaking this dark coverage and separation from that. And it comes as a struggle and as a hard work, because being covered by this for a long time makes you very tightly connected to this. So it's kind of feeling like trying to wash away some very hard paint, which gets deeply inside of the surface. So this work showcases the struggle and the first results. As you can see, you can already see this bright golden light inside of you. And of course it takes a lot of effort to get free fully, but it's already first steps that have some results. So it's kind of inspiration at the beginning of the journey, which gives you an understanding that everything can be okay, and it will be okay. You just need to move forward and to continue working on your mind and on your energy. From that, we're moving to the next works, which are the Transfiguration and the Invictus. They are very connected in the symbolic meaning. The Transfiguration shows the resistance of this darkness towards the character who wants to get free. And if at first it was a kind of a part of the self, and it felt like it's you that is dark and negative and depressive, at this step you understand that this is a kind of a separate force that is trying to break you down and destroying you, mimicking as a part of your own conscious. I'm not saying that it's literally the separate kind of being. It's some kind of pattern in my reactions and feelings that is not aligned with my true will. And that way it felt like something outside of me, because I knew that I wanted to be active, to be happy, to have energy to do something and to create and to live the better life. But something prevented me from taking action, from thinking in a positive way, from going outside and have a nice walk, whatever it is. So this work illustrates this exact opened fight between the true self and this negative patterns and energies that had some control over you. And this mace in his hand is the will. It's the strong intention to win this battle and to destroy these negative energies. So this is the moment when you're finally able to get this energy of light and fight this darkness. And as I said previously, it's very interconnected with this work, Invictus, because itself it represents the sun and the archetype of sun and God in this form, and it's made as the talisman. As you can see, it has the name of God in Hebrew, which is the one of the Kabbalistic names of God connected to the sun, and it's the seal of the sun in the middle. It's half of the seal, and I thought that it would be clear that another half is under the surface, so it kind of shows the surface and the outer form in the left part, and a kind of a meaning and the energy behind that under the surface on the right. So yeah, it has some sacred symbols, the hexagrams, and it is what affecting the fighter and gives him the strength and courage and energy to take action and actually win this battle, because without that it wouldn't be nearly impossible to do this, because the apathy and destructive negativity like depression wouldn't allow you to take a step to make your life better. So it's kind of the same energy that was represented by the nails. So those nails were like the rays of this sun that has hit and scratched the surface of this darkness a little bit, and now this power is fully encouraging and empowering, energizing this fighter, and allows him to move forward and to defeat this darkness. So this work is the last in the series, and it's called the Ascension. It showcases the character in some kind of a shapeless form, which is an absolute state that can't be touched by these dark tentacles. Those monster was the main antagonist in the previous work. It is no longer the monster. It's not completely defeated, because I do believe that it's impossible to defeat the darkness itself, but the character, the fighter, has transformed in that kind of state that is unbreakable and untouchable by this darkness. It's kind of a state of pure energy, and it's the ultimate power, the power of life, the vitality, which can't be affected by those negative energies anymore. It's very important to mention that my own state felt for me exactly like this, because at some point I felt very new experiences out of me that made a kind of a promise that those dark states won't come back. And before that I had fluctuating states, all my life before that. I had some empowered periods, of course, when I was very active and willing to do something, but it was always changed by the not very depressive, but low-key states when you feel the lack of motivation, lack of energy to do something, to be active. And those low-key states were much longer than the energized periods. So it was very difficult for me to finish some kind of projects or do whatever it is, to exist in general, because I started something and sometimes a lot of things in this empowered state, and then I felt that I have a lack of resource to finish them. I gave up a lot of projects because of that. That thing changed at one moment, and I was just hoping that it would work for a long time. It was just a spark of inspiration and a very intensive feeling of power inside of me. I was very inspired by that. And now I may say that it's almost a year has passed since that happened to me, and I had no really hard low-key periods this year, which is very unusual for me. So I may say that it kind of worked in real life, and that's because this series is so important for me, because it's not a kind of delusional fantasy story about the fight of the light against the darkness, which is very common and usual, but it has the real experience behind that, and it's mine experience, which is ultimately true for me, subjectively at least, and I really want to share this as the example of some kind of transformation that is possible in general. I see a lot of people struggling from depression and apathy and all this stuff. I know that it's the real kind of disease, and I may only recommend you, if you're struggling from this, to see the specialists in medicine. I cannot suggest to you only rely on some kind of divine inspiration and all that stuff, but I'm sharing that it happened for me and worked for me, and this work was intentional. I'm really into some spiritual and energetic exercises and practices, because I want to experience some of the theoretical ideas and concepts on myself practically and see what's gonna happen. So in Kabbalistic and Hermetic tradition, it's called the invocation, and I've practiced this according to the archetype of the sun. It's based on the monotheistic idea of the one ultimate God as the source of life and the higher consciousness, and at that point the sun or anything else is just a kind of part of it and the exact form of manifestation of the God. So yeah, so it's just a little context of my inner work. If you are interested in this, please let me know. I would love to share this too, of course. So yeah, I guess that's it. It was the overview of my Citrinitas collection series of works, and I wish you all to overcome all the negativity and become full of life and energy and power to create your best life and achieve all your goals. Keep yourself healthy. Thanks a lot for watching. Please like and subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you in the next one.